So there's no visioning, very little visioning. And there's a lot of, in this elementary phase, this first 10, 12, 14 years, there's a lot of do it, a lot of tasks, a lot of metricizing their accomplishments. My kid gets straight A's. Who cares?
Hope you do.
And how many parents say that? I don't care if my kids get straight A's. I never did care. I told them that. You know, my daughter Jennifer is a college professor. She said, when she was in 4th grade, Dad, I got all A's. I said, is that what you wanted to do? And she just looked at me and she said, you're not like any other father in the class. So I said, well, the A's are for you. They're not for me. Why would the A's be for me? If you get D's, I love you just the way I love you. You get A's, I love you just the way I love you. That's your life. If you put 20 cents away in the bank account each week and now you have $10, that's your $10, not mine. So what happens then is the elementary phase does a lot of kind of getting grounded in who we are, and we're appealing to what we know. Of course, Freud talked about we try to replicate our parents' marriage. That's what he said.
Oh dear.
And, and 2 people marry, 6 people get in the bed. That was Freud. And so he said, you know, so that's why the work is difficult, because we're spending all our life trying to get rid of these things our parents did. And we really don't have much deep intention toward each other. That's one thing he said. Then Jung says, well, love is creative, marriage is an institution, marriage suffocates. Huh? That's Carl Gustav Jung.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, then how do you do marriage counseling, Dr. Jung? Or do you? Is there room for individuation? That he liked that word so much. Is there room for both people individuating? So in the model scaffolding, what I say is elementary sort of comes to an end, and all of these phases are woven throughout. They're not just one thing like I'm presenting mechanically. But toward the end of elementary, toward the end of adolescence, what you'll notice is you're in your second adolescence. And in that time is the time of deep questioning. Right. What am I doing with him? What am I doing with a man I don't like to kiss? What am I doing with a woman I call cold? That's another one that happens in our offices. Well, I just had a couple last night. Well, she's cold. She doesn't ever want to have sex. And I'm 40. And she says, what are you talking about? I love sex. Well, we haven't had sex. We haven't had sex in a week. A week? Is that your timetable? She's looking at him. She's mad. Is that your timetable? If we don't have sex in a week, I'm cold. Huh. Well, I reject your theory about sex. So he says, well, I don't know how to touch you. And he has a little tear in his eye now. And then he says, you always say I come too soon. And that really hurts my feelings. I said, do you come too soon? Of course I come too soon. Doesn't every man? I say, well, I said, I don't know that, but I'll try to find out for you. So what do you mean? You come too soon? Well, what she wound up meaning and saying was, I don't feel the tenderness between us. I don't feel you touch me with true appreciation for my body. I don't feel like you really listen when I say I have a cycle, and this part of my cycle I'm this way, and this part of my cycle I'm this way. I feel like you're completely tuned out to that. And he's sitting there, he says, well, I don't want to be. Yeah, but you are. And Stephen, is there any chance for us? Well, no chance for you to return to what you had 13 years ago, and when you couldn't get your lips off each other's lips. We get that. That's called hormone cocktail. And the hormone cocktail is pretty much diminished now in your mid-40s or whatever you are. But can you get to tenderness? I would think so, but that has to do with your connection to love's origin. Because love's origin is a cosmic event. We don't think of it that way. you could say, without being far off, God Almighty has declared this relationship legitimate, and I'm going to bless you too. If you don't want to use religious talk, though, you have to say it differently, right? But you can say it that way. You say, wow, God blessed me with Lynn. God blessed Lynn with Stephen. Now what? Well, it changes from she's cold to who are you? And in elementary, you're going into what we call transitional. All the questions are valid. But most of us, in our woundedness in our families, have been taught to fear the questions. Yeah. So guess what? I say, I don't know if I'm with the right woman. That's a good question to say, Stephen. You going to leave Lynn? No, I don't feel like that. But how would I know I was with the right woman? I can't field test 100 women. See, that question is so stupid, right? How is it possible that I don't, how is it possible she doesn't know if she's with the right man? Of course she doesn't know. So I say that, of course you don't know. How are you going to find that out? Through questions. Who are you? What are you about? What are you most afraid of? Those are called leadership questions. What do you most want? What do you most need? Who do you think I am? Who do I want to be for you? Who do I think you are? Then you start to say, oh, get to a really nifty kind of place. At the end of elementary, at the beginning of transition, you're leaving elementary, you're leaving, making sure your kids' butts are wiped and all that, and you're going into your 40s and 50s, and you think it's all about him or her. Well, it's not. News break. It's not about him or her. It's about you. Guess why marriage got in my office in the first place? Because of a word that Freud coined that used all the time. It's called projection. Mm-hmm. With my despair, with my depressed mother, I picked a woman and I glommed onto her and said, you will make up for all that my mother didn't do. And I will punish you for all that she did do. And I will call that a marriage. And then, because you can't meet that, I'll say, hey, Dolly, you free tonight? And Dolly said, yeah, well, Alan, he's kind of always watching TV. Why don't we have a drink? And so we start doing something. But it's the same woman. It's the same damn woman. Only her name is different. And I'm the same guy. Me and Alan are like that. We recognize each other. We're no better in bed than the other guy. We're no more sensitive than the other guy. We're no more than any of that. So we say, do you want to know who I am? Would you be interested, honey? And then we start something in the transitional phase that, if you can trust love's origin, the reason you can ask those questions is because you have found the magical key, how to return over and over and over and over and over to love's origin, how to bring that up between the two of you. You know what, Lynn? I love you fully. Even though I'm an asshole tonight, I love you fully. I love you, Stephen. When she says that, I love you, Stephen, I believe her. Because it's not like when she's angry and her words are bitey. She says that. So I say, oh, well, there she's angry and her words are bitey. And here she's saying, I'm so glad I'm doing this with you. And I believe her. So I say, oh, okay, what is this that we're doing? What are we trying to do? So we're going into transitional and asking the who am I really? Well, she's 73, not 32. She's 32 when I met her, 30. And now she's 73. 3? 2. Now she's 70. I made that mistake last week, too. Now she's 72. Well, guess what, Fru? A woman that's 72 is a whole lot different than a woman that's 50, right? Mm-hmm. Physically different, spiritually different, emotionally different. She knows more about her wounds. She knows more about what she likes in men and what she doesn't like in men. She's a grandmama now. She's a student. She's all kinds of stuff. I didn't know when I fell in love and said, let's go fuck. I didn't know that.
That's romantic.
Yeah, I know. That's a male romanticism. Come on, baby, you ready? That's the way we're romantic. But again, last night she says, well, you're not very romantic. He says, I'm a fireman. I carried a 10-year-old girl out of a burning building last week, and she died. I don't have a whole lot of empathy for you at that moment. I'm just glad you're there. When he's talking, this is a guy who's very stiff and wooden-like. When he's talking, I'm weeping. Because I had a surgeon in Glendale say the same thing to me 30, 40 years ago. You know, I deal with stuff all day I don't want to deal with, and my family wants me to be open. How the hell can I be open? I don't want to be open. I want to talk about the 10-year-old girl. I want to be with my children. I want to have some love and stuff like that. So you get transitionals, ask the questions, who are you? Why are you? What do you do? And that moves into transformational. Now you have, because you're connected to love's origin and you have confidence with each other, now you're able to say, I'm becoming somebody like I've never been before. Lynn's way of saying it so beautifully, I hope I can say this. If I can't, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
But this was...
Should you run it by me first?
No, I'm not going to, because these are your people, not my people.
Probably no.
They're your people.
Go ahead.
She was 50 or something in there. It's one of the advantages of knowing a person a long time.
Is this the Starbucks story?
Yeah.
You've told it to him every time.
Have I?
Yep.
Do you know the Starbucks story?
Yeah.
They forgot. See, they hesitate.
I don't know.
So she said, when I used to walk in Starbucks, and men would turn their head and look. Wow.
Yeah. What?
Now I walk in Starbucks, and they look right through me. So a woman's body changes, and your appreciation of your body and of your beauty changes, and it's harder maybe to acknowledge your beauty. I saw Linda at a concert, and I liked her hair, and I told her how pretty she looked. But Linda said, oh, well, I just changed my hair. She kind of brushed it off.
I did.
Yeah, you brushed it off. So what's that, you know? It's not a complaint. It's like, it's hard to say I'm 82 and I'm beautiful, I'm 97 and I'm beautiful, or I'm 22 and I'm beautiful, I'm a woman. I get to be a woman, what a blessing. So if that is going on as you're getting into transitional, you're asking more important questions about yourself and your partner. And I say this should be taken into the office and replace some of those hours spent on the last conflict. Right.